Hi. Hola.
Hi, hier ist Mr. Döse.
This is Michael Bradley.
Hey, I'm Memphis.
Hey.
Hola. Hello.
I'm here with soccer.com.
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 And I'm talking with my friends soccer.com.
See you soon.
Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Adidas A16.1 Primeknit in the brand new Mercury Pack colorway. Now, included with the shoes is of course a string bag that you see on the table in front of me, and then of course inside the box you do get the shoes themselves. Now, this is a brand new colorway of the A16.1 Primeknit that I personally think looks pretty good. That's exciting, but what's kind of interesting as well is that this shoe has seen a price reduction at full retail. Every colorway before the Mercury Pack has retailed for $250 US, whereas the Mercury Pack one retails for $225. So I believe this particular model has seen a $25 price reduction, which is always nice to see. $225 is not necessarily cheap, but it is cheaper than $250, which, like I said, is a good thing. With that being said, in today's video, we are going to take a closer look at the colorway itself. We're going to talk tech specs, performance, take a look at the weight of the shoe, as well as take a look at how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more about the Mercury Pack A16.1 Primeknit, please stick around, watch the entire video, and if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video, where you will find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $225 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway. Now, given that this is part of the new Mercury Pack from Adidas, the upper does consist of a very bright metallic silver color that looks pretty cool on this particular shoe, given that you have a Primeknit base to the upper, as well as the non-stop grip dots, which just give the upper a lot of texture and just a different look in general. The Adidas stripes, as you guys can see, are black at the bottom and then fade to what is kind of like a darker gray, flows across the top of the foot, and then obviously continues there on the medial side. They did add a little bit of branding on this particular colorway for the Ace variations. You can see that it now has the NSG non-stop grip logo right here on the medial side of the heel. They also added the word Primeknit Skin across the top of the foot for whatever reason. You have the black Adidas logo on the heel, and then of course the heel counter of the sprint frame as well as the rest of the sprint frame is actually clear, but the underside is kind of like a grayish silver color, so it does give it a silver look overall. Some black detailing there through the forefoot, and then the tips of the studs are a translucent solar yellow, basically a neon yellow color. Same thing goes for the laces, the in-between parts of the tongue, and the top of the collar Primeknit area that is exposed around the ankle. So all in all, I actually think this is a really good looking colorway, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, the A16.1 Primeknit is a very, very good shoe. I'm going to go over all the details in today's video, the ones that you should know if you're planning on picking these up. But if you want even more information, you can go ahead and check out my playtest video that's already up on my channel. I'll leave an annotation on screen. You can go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. And like I said, it'll kind of give you a lot of extra information that you won't necessarily find in this particular video. So with that said, what you're getting with the A16.1 Primeknit is exactly as the name would suggest, a Primeknit upper. And really the upper is pretty much just straight up knitted material. Primeknit is basically Adidas's variation of Nike's Flyknit. They were developed at the same time. There's controversy as to whether or not it was a copycat situation. I don't think it was. But knitted shoes are what's hot right now, so obviously Adidas has a couple of them to their name. The A16.1, in my opinion, being the best of what's on offer from the brand. So you do have a Primeknit upper. The silver part that you see right here is the main part of the upper. It's a little bit thinner through the midfoot area and then gets a little bit more padded, or has more of a padded sensation to it through the forefoot area. It does change in terms of the density of the knitted material. Harder to see on this colorway, but it's more tight around the edges where you need a little bit more structure, and then more open across the top of the foot where, again, the structure isn't as important. And then you can see, again, it gets more dense here on the medial side of the forefoot toe box area. Now, the actual touch that it provides is definitely on the thinner side. There is somewhat of a padded sensation to the actual material, given that it does have kind of a, I guess, slightly puffier consistency to it, if that makes any sense, but it still is a relatively thin shoe. So if you don't like thin shoes, probably not the best option for you. As far as other features you're going to find on the upper, it is finished off with a silicone top layer, basically Nike's variation of Nike Skin, just to protect that top layer of Primeknit, to prevent it from fraying or anything like that. And of course, it's going to allow for a little bit of additional grip on the ball, or just a more normal touch on the ball in general. It's not going to be completely slick across your foot like a pair of socks would be. And then you have the non-stop grip dots, which they've enhanced the branding on the shoe. Basically, it's those little dots that you see across the entire upper. Again, kind of Adidas's answer to Nike's ACC technology. Is it something that's really effective in terms of allowing for better grip on the ball in wet weather? Not necessarily. Just like ACC is one of those features that it's there, you appreciate that it's there, you may or may not notice it if you're really thinking about it, but it's not really going to make or break your experience with the shoe nonetheless. The actual support and structure coming from the upper is from the actual liner itself, which is thin and really doesn't take away from the softness and flexibility of the Primeknit, but you do have the Adidas stripes here on the lateral and medial side, which are kind of like TPU plastic, but more flexible and very, very thin, fused from the base of the sole into the lacing system, and those provide a lot of additional support and structure to the upper through the midfoot. When you pull the laces tight, you can feel right where the Adidas stripes are positioned on your foot. Has somewhat of a kind of squeezing sensation, and this really does help to lock down the foot and maintain good stability through the midfoot area, where the forefoot does have a little bit more kind of give to it in terms of just its characteristics when put under kind of high stress type situations. Laces run through the middle, as you guys can see. The tongue itself has all these little pass-throughs where the laces kind of crisscross. They kind of tout that as a performance feature to allow for a better touch, but not really something that I think is going to impact performance in any way. And then the tongue itself isn't really a tongue. It's more of an internal enclosure. So you have an upper made from Primeknit, and then you have a tongue that's made from Primeknit, and this actually extends right through down through the midfoot. So it's basically like an elasticated knitted piece that wraps your foot, holds it in place really nicely. And again, it's just that extra layer of kind of structure on the inside of the shoe to make sure that there is a sufficient amount of lockdown given the knitted material that the upper actually is. Around the ankle area, you have what they call their prime cut system, or the prime cut, which is basically just the cut of the shoe. It's pretty self-explanatory in that this is not really a mid-cut shoe. It doesn't fit like one. It doesn't really feel like one. Essentially, this is just a slightly elasticated knitted extension piece. You can see the standard cut of a shoe right here. They're not even hiding it. And it really just feels like a normal shoe that's cut pretty standard at the heel. Then you have these extension pieces that really don't need to be here. It's just there mainly for looks. You don't feel it. It doesn't offer any ankle support. It doesn't change the performance of the shoe. It's just an extension piece that they've added for the sake of adding it to have something a little bit different. The back doesn't come up any higher than it normally would on a regular shoe. Inside of this prime cut collar area, you do have a kind of, the liner split up into two different parts. Some of it is the knitted material, and then at the very base, it's more of a synthetic suede, kind of synthetic leather, just to allow for a little bit more grip against your heel, so it's not sliding around. Heel slippage I did not find to be an issue with these whatsoever. Insole, fully removable. You have a mesh liner on top, perforations through the front 2/3 of the insole, and it's just made from a single layer of this black foam. Fairly thin, but not really uncommon for Adidas. They've been using insoles like this for quite some time now. Really didn't have any issues with it. And then of course you have the sole plate, which is the Sprint frame from Adidas. You can see the Sprint frame branding right there on the medial side of the heel counter. Similar to what they were doing back in 2010 when the F50 Adizero first launched. Almost the exact same shape. And it's what allows this shoe, as well as pretty much all their current products, to be a lot lighter than they would otherwise be. It's a plastic material that is reinforced through the midfoot and heel, so it's got good rigidity to it despite being so thin, and you have good flexibility through the forefoot and toe box area as well, which is nice. No issues with the sole plate whatsoever. It feels really, really good, and I'm actually glad that they brought this system back. As far as the stud pattern is concerned, this is their Ground Control 2.0 system. Basically, it's FGAG, so you can use it on firm natural grass as well as artificial grass. but it's not really any different than what they've been doing for the last little while. It's more of a firm ground stud pattern than it is an AG stud pattern. So when you do use this on artificial grass, while you are technically allowed to do that, it's not going to harm the shoe. And technically you shouldn't be in any kind of danger either. It does feel like more of a firm ground stud pattern, not a true AG stud pattern. Kind of like what we got more so with the Ace 15.1, which I thought was a true kind of FG AG hybrid. This just feels like a firm ground stud pattern that you happen to be able to use on artificial grass as well. So the performance is good. It's the same layout we're used to seeing from Adidas, conical studs, so more traditional look and generally feel. They do have a fairly narrow profile to them, so they dig into the ground quite nicely. So traction really isn't an issue. It's not the most aggressive stud pattern out there, but again, if you've worn an Adidas shoe in the last couple of years, you've probably had something with a variation of this particular stud pattern. So if you liked what you got from that shoe, you probably will enjoy this particular stud pattern as well, because like I said, when the placement of the studs doesn't really change, neither does the performance. So it's a well-proven stud pattern from Adidas at this point, so you shouldn't really have any issues with the traction here on the Ace 16.1 Primeknit. In terms of weight, the Ace 16.1 Primeknit is a relatively lightweight shoe. For the sake of the video, I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time so we can see exactly how light they are. Keep in mind that this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. I'm going to throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 8.1 ounces, the equivalent of 230 grams. So right at the 8-ounce mark, which like I said is relatively lightweight. Are there lighter shoes out there? Absolutely, but none of them feel quite like the Ace 16.1 Primeknit. It's kind of a unique combination of features. It's a very natural feel in terms of what you can get from a knitted shoe without having a super tight upper like you'll find from something like a Superfly 5. So ultimately it really comes down to what type of fit and feel that you're looking for. But if you want a knitted shoe and don't necessarily want the mid-cut fit and feel of what Nike has on offer, this is definitely something worth considering because you're getting a more traditional kind of fit and feel in terms of what a low-cut soccer shoe would offer, but with the Primeknit upper that does have that truly sock-like sensation on your foot. All right, so here is a look at the Ace 16.1 Primeknits on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock yellow laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of metallic silver reflective SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they're actually very, very comfortable out of the box. The Primeknit upper is super soft, it's super flexible, and it really does have that kind of sock-like sensation on your foot, especially in the forefoot toe box area. The midfoot with those Adidas stripes, when you pull the laces tight, you definitely feel the extra stiffness that adds to the upper. It does kind of hug your midfoot pretty tightly. So if you don't necessarily like that sensation, maybe not the best option for you. You basically just have kind of a little bit more pressure on your foot in that area of the shoe, which I know does bother some people, but I really didn't have any issues with it. The heel area feels normal despite it looking a little bit different. You don't really feel the extended collar piece around your ankle at all. It's just something that looks a little bit different, and that's about all the impact that it has on the experience that you're going to have with this particular shoe. Width-wise, it's going to be suitable for most foot types. There's really a decent amount of width to the shoe. The only thing, again, is the midfoot where you have those Adidas stripes. It does fit a little bit more snug when you pull the laces tight. So if you have a really wide midfoot, maybe not the best option, but for most people, you shouldn't have too many issues with the fit of this shoe at all. And as far as sizing is concerned, they run true to size. I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the Mercury Pack Adidas Ace 16.1 Primeknit. If you guys are interested in more info on this shoe, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find the high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself that'll give you a better idea as to how these actually do look in person. And of course, you also find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick them up below their normal $225 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding this particular shoe, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, thanks for watching.